and welcome to another episode of AuntDi's Crafts. Today is going to be a long video. It is my version of DesignSpace 101. I cover everything in this video. Every little bit of DesignSpace that will get you going with all the basics and even more. So stay tuned. Follow along, pause because it might get boring at times, or pause so you can go ahead and try what I just showed you and I guess follow along. So I do hope that this is very informative for you. Come back to this video many times and you will, before you know it, know DesignSpace in and out. So happy crafting, everyone, and I do hope that this video helps. Okay, so when you go to sign in with your Cricut ID, this is where you're going to come across. If you don't already have an account with Cricut, you will need to click on Create an Account ID and follow the steps for that. But I already have an account, so I am just going to click Sign In. I like to click the Remember Me. So this is what is called the home. I'm going to call it home page. At the top, you have different options that you can scroll through. This is talking about the new Cricut Easy Press Mat. You can shop at Cricut. This is Riley Blake's designs. Okay, so as you can see underneath that, your first area is called My Projects. My Projects is just that. It's where your projects go once you save them. And I will stress, when you do make projects, save them regularly. So like these are just a whole pile of my projects. That is only some of them. If I want to view them all, because there's one I want that's from last year or something, I would click the View All button and you would find all of my projects that I have saved. Now, if you didn't want to have to sit here and scroll through all of your projects, because like me, I've got tons, as long as you have been breaking your project up. Oh, no, sorry, I'm wrong. Anyways, here you also will see at the top, it says My Projects. If I click on that arrow and pick an option, well, my favorites, I have no favorites. All categories will take me to all the categories of the projects in Cricut itself. Cricut has a bunch of projects that's already made up. Everything's done to it. You would just click it like I've just done. It brings it up. You can scroll through it, just see the different pictures that comes with it. And then you can scroll down. It's called the Watercolor Card Set, and it explains to you how to do it, how big it is when it's done, what materials you need, everything else that's needed, and your ensemble and all your instructions. It also tells you here that it is for free. It's not going to cost you anything. Here's another one. This one, once again, I can put this to say I want to make this some other time, then I could click it on my favorites. I could share it with Facebook or Printess. So there's some pretty cool things. Let's click this one. You see also, especially on the sweet tea towel, this is one I wanted to show you. You would see, if you do not have an Access membership, that this design is going to cost me 99 cents if I choose to purchase it. Now I could go back to my mat and customize it, change it around a bit. Let's click that. And it does take me back right to my mat or my canvas, and that saying comes up. Okay. Now if I went back, you also have the option of just going straight to make it. If you were to click that, then you would completely bypass your canvas altogether and go straight to the cutting mat layout. It's reminding you you need to purchase, and it's going to cost you 99 cents. You could cancel or click purchase, and then it's going to want your payment information. You can break it down to you're ready to make projects. I have none. Featured projects, which is showing you, I guess, featured, so like some of the favorite ones that are out there. Cricut Community. This is a new thing Cricut recently started. You can upload your designs or your project to share with everybody else. So these are all made or designed by other crafters just like you and me who have decided that they want to share it with other people. And that's how they would do it. Cricut Access, you'll see that you always can tell what is Cricut Access because there is Boo. Quiet. Because there's an A right beside it. Cricut Access is a membership that you do have to subscribe to. There is 3 different levels of this membership. The first one is just Access Fonts, which would give you the ability to, or give you a bunch of fonts that you can use. Then there is Regular and Premier, if I'm not mistaken. Accessories. So if you want to make jewelry, headbands, bows, you would go to accessories. Anne Griffin. Anne Griffin is a feature designer with Cricut and ProvoCraft. So these would be her designs that she is sharing. It's taken forever to load up, I know, I'm sorry. That she shares with us. You have to pay for them, unfortunately. Like here is soft baby blocks. And these are really cool. It once again tells you how to do it, tells you it's by Anne Griffin, and it's going to cost $3.99 for this file. Once you purchase something like this, it's yours. You don't have to purchase it again. you can use it and cut it out as many times as you want. 9-patch pillow. Once again, this is going to cost you $5.99. But you can make 20,000 pillows. But these are just different, like I said, designs by Ann Griffith that you can purchase so you could make your own. Then they break them up into categories like baby, and so on and so on. Over on the left-hand side is 3 lines beside the canvas word. This is where you would go if you want to quickly go home, bring me back home, take me to my canvas. If you've just bought your machine and you need to set it up, calibration, if your machine needs calibrated, managing custom setting or materials. Let's click that one. Cricut has a list of all the different cutting materials that you can use with their machines. It's just connecting to my machine right now, realizing that, hey, yeah, it's there. Now, this list of materials which they already have, they've already set up the pressure, how many times it needs to cut, what kind of blade it needs. It's already all set up for you. But if you would like to change that, say that you're playing around and you find that the settings aren't quite working for you the way you would like, you can manually change some of those settings. So this is just a list of all the different settings that Cricut already has programmed into, I'm not sure if it's the program or the machine, but they've already got it all in there for you, and you can change it if you need to. If you need to add an extra multi-cut, if you want it to cut 3 times instead of 2 times, if you want it to not cut, whatever, that's where you would go. Back to the 3 lines, update your firmware, your account information or details, link cartridges, this is where you would go to do that, Cricut access, settings, legal, this is where you would go to read up about the Angel policy, which Cricut has, allowing you to use their fonts and their images for personal use or for selling, whichever. New features, different states. I typically don't always change it, but just to show you I will. It wants me to reload, so I'm just going to cancel that. Help. Here we are in our canvas area again, and back over to the left hand side, we're still working. You see that there's this whole column here of different options. The new would get you to a new canvas. So if I click that, it will ask me if I want to save this project, replace it, or just cancel and go right back to where I was. I'm just going to replace it. We're just going to have a clean slate. Maybe. There we go. So no title, nothing's here. The first option is templates. Templates are a great thing to use to help you size your project. So I've just clicked on it to show you that there's different templates to choose from. You can choose from different templates like glassware, there's different clothing items. If it ever loads, I'll be able to show you. There we go. So like we've got aprons and athletic shorts and backpacks and bag tags. clocks, crock pots, an actual Cricut machine, curtains, dishwashers, glassware, dryers, lots of different ones. Now some of them, when you click on them, will give you different options. So let's see if this hoodie one does. Just waiting for it to load up. Okay. So this hoodie, as you can see, it's just faint lines. Up here it says that it is a woman's classic. If I click that, it will give me different options. I can have a zippered style for a woman. Man's, children's, toddlers. There's lots of different options. Not only do I get to choose options that way, if it ever loads, I also get to choose sizes. Right now it's set at a 2x. I click it, I can do 4x, 5 to 6, sorry, T, not X, or custom. Custom means I can change the width and height to whatever I want. Now the good thing about templates is it's seeable for you, but your machine does not see it. So when you go to make it, it's not there, it doesn't exist. Down here where I just was, there is, if you move your mouse over it, it brings it up. It is a negative and minus, or a negative and plus sign, which will bring your screen closer to you or further away. You've got the projects to pick from over in the left-hand side. Images, text, shapes, and uploads. Shapes, if you click that, it just gives you your basic shapes plus your score line. Now if you were to click your score line, you can change that from a score to a cut. So if you need a cut line, just a single line because you want to cut something in half, that's what you would use. There is your score line as a score. And if you did want to change it to a cut, you would go over to the layers panel. You would find that score line. You would highlight it so it's selected. You would click where it shows that it is a score. Your layers attributes panel comes up, and you would change that to whatever you want it to be. A print to cut, a write, a cut, or a score, which it is. You click cut, it asks you what color. I don't know why, because it's just cutting the line. You click it, and you will notice that over here it is changed from the score picture to the scissors, which means it's a cut now. If you click on the image, you also see that you have this X option, that is to delete. Or you can click over here, there's a delete option, or even just the delete button on your keyboard of your computer. I am going to remove, or actually before I keep going, also with the templates, you can change the color of them. So like this is a see-through, so it's the same color as the background. It makes it sort of hard to see. I'd go over here to the right-hand side. I would click on the circle of the hoodie, and I can change the color. For some projects, this would make it easier to see. I can also hide it and bring it back. But I don't want it. I'm just going to delete it for now. If you go to images, this is where you'll find all of the 60 plus thousand images that Cricut has. That's a lot, awful lot. It says images here. It shows it here because it's in green. This is your search bar. So if you want to search for your certain image, say I want something that's going to be baby, I would type baby, enter, and it will be searching for my baby stuff. Now it's going to come up with everything Cricut has that's baby related. Be it words, be it pictures, be it my upload pictures, ones that I've purchased, one that I need to purchase, whatever. You pick the squares on the left, far right hand, and it changes the layout just so that you have it laid out so it's convenient for you. Beside that is filter. This is where you would make it a little bit easier by just clicking on what you want it to look for. So I want just the stuff that's my images. I don't want any of the stuff that I have to purchase yet. I would click my images. That will include your uploaded images, your purchased image, anything granted, stuff like that. You can choose type by 3D images, background and textures, borders, cards and envelopes, frames, phrases, and printables. You can also decide if you want it to be just a single layer or have multi-layers. If you scroll down, you'll see all of the images that I have that fall under the word baby. If you see an image you like, when you go and put your mouse over it, it tells you the name of the image. This one is called Baby Carriage. It shows me that I've purchased this image. I want a little bit more information, so I'm going to click on the eye. Once again, it tells me the name, it's telling me the item number, and it tells me here in green what cartridge it comes from. Now, if I was to say, let me go back, I have to use it, I have to click the eye again to clear that. If it's an item that, or an image that I'm thinking I'd like to use, I can click it. This way I'm not scrolling back and forth all the time. And I might want this one, and I might want this one, say. And I'm getting ready to go over and bring my images to my canvas. But I'm not sure now if I want a couple of these. So I would take my mouse, my arrow, whatever you want to call it, put it over the image I do not want any longer. An X will come up within a circle. I would just click the X and it's gone. Click it again, that image is gone. This is the only image that's going to show up on my mat now, or my canvas now. If I had more, they'd be all listed down in here. I can either cancel, which would bring me right back to my mat with nothing on it, or I can insert the image. But since I'm not done in this area yet, I'm not going to do either. I'm just going to remove that. Up beside the highlighted in green image word is categories and cartridges. If you put your cursor over categories and click on that, it is another way that Cricut has broken down all of their images. They do offer free images for the week, every week. That's where they are. They have a group of most popular, the newest images they have, and then they go down from there and continue from there. Achievements, arts and entertainments, Christmas, Easter, Father's Day, it just keeps going and going and going. It also now breaks it down into the brand. So if I want only Anna Griffin, I would click here. If I only want Creative Bug images, I would go there. If I only want images that Disney's made, I would go there. Now remember, Disney is only offered in the States because of licensing agreements. I'm not sure about England and that, but I know here in Canada we cannot purchase any of the Disney or Pixar fonts or images off of Cricut DesignSpace. You can go into places like Amazon or eBay and purchase the cartridges there, and once you receive it, you can link it to your machine and you can use it. So that's all these. Now if I was to go and click on, say, spring, it would now bring up all baby that's in spring. So let's get rid of baby. Let's just search spring. It will give me everything that is under spring with my filter in place. You can go to cartridges. Here in cartridges, it lists every single cartridge they have. You can click on the you can see that this cartridge, 2018 calendars, is an access only. It has 36 images, and then this one's free, or it would have, if you've purchased it, if it's been granted, or if you still need to pay for it, it would be there. You would then think, oh, okay, I want to look at all wrapped up. So you would click on it, and it's going to bring up all the images, as long as you don't have anything in the search, all 60 images of what I would find in all wrapped up cartridge. If I wanted to use an image, I would click on it. It comes down here and shows up. I would then pick select or insert image and wait for it to be loaded onto the canvas. Now this image I've picked, as it's loading, I will show you, it already shows that it is a print. So that means it's a print to cut, which means it's going to be sent to my printer to print on cardstock before it's going to ask me to insert it into the Cricut to be cut. You can change that still. You would click it, and let's make it a cut and see what happens. It's a cut, and it's just going to do the outsides because all the little details that you've seen were just printed there. I can do right, and then it's just going to do the outside. I could even do score if I really wanted to, or I could go back to print. Now I want to go back to where it was. There is the undo button. That would bring it back. I just click it until I get it where I want it. I can go in and change colors, but it will change the color of all of it because it's set up as a print to cut. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head what the size is, so I'm just going to do this for a minute. There is a limit size when it comes to print to cut. And I'm just trying, because I don't remember, like I said, off the top of my head what it is. Do you think that would definitely make it? This will for sure. If I make it too big, see, it comes up saying that I need to reduce the size to less than 9.25 by 6.75. That's as large as you can do a print to cut. So let's just go 9.25. Okay. Now, with some of the options at the top that you see, because there's an image on the board, and I had the image selected. First of all, at each of the corners, there's a circle with options of what you can do with it. This one means you can delete it. This one is rotating it, so you can turn it around in circles. This one is your size. This way it will quickly size the width and the height accordingly so that they stay in proportion. This one is to unlock it. So if you want it to change your height and width differently, you could do it this way. Now once you click that and unlock it, you can do it from here. And see, now I can move it all these different ways, and it's changing each the height and the width, like oppositely, so they're not matching up necessarily. You could also, after you unlock it, or even when it's locked, up at the top under size, you can manually type in the numbers that you would like and press enter. Also, there's your undo button. When you have the need for it or have the option, you'll have it highlighted redo button. Right now, since I have everything selected, this one says deselect. Let's click it. Nothing selected on the canvas, so there's my select all. There's an edit button to cut, copy, and now paste. And now I have two of them. Or you can select everything and come all the way over here to duplicate and just click on that. It duplicates it not only on the canvas but also in the layers. When it's selected, you can also flip it. You can flip it horizontally. You can flip it vertically. You can go back. Now that I have it, you can redo. You can go back and redo. Now there's nothing up here because nothing's selected on the canvas. In order to get options, you need to have something selected. So once again, there's your size. Up here is for rotating, and same thing as this little circle, but this time you would put in the numbers that you wish. So if I wanted to rotate it 90 degrees, I would rotate it to 90 degrees. Here is your positioning. This is the position of it on the mat, where your image is. If I wanted it to be in the top corner, I would go 0 by 0, and it shifts it up to the top corner. It's pretty cool. Now we will go to remove that, go back over here, and you'll see text. when you click it, a little text box comes up and you get a bunch of options at the top. The text box is obviously where you're going to text what you want to say. AuntDi's Crafts. You treat the text box just like you would any other text box. Enter to go down. Just click off it to end it. If you notice later on that you've made a mistake, double click your words that you want to fix, and your text box comes back up and you can fix and do whatever it is you need to change. And now that's going to come up. Let's see, there you go. Now I can remove it because I don't want it. Click out of that. Oh, you can also, if you go down to this little corner here, you can make your text box bigger so you can see more at one time. So let's select AuntDi's Crafts, or whatever word you type in to do this. When you do that, not only does your undo, select, flip, size, rotation, position area open up, below that you have some other options that now are available, including font. As a default, it always reverts back to the basic Cricut font, Cricut Sans. Always does. Whenever you're starting a new project. If you have your font selected, or prior to actually typing, you can select the font that you would like. You would click on the drop down arrow, and the list of every font you have installed, not just download it, because it's got to be actually installed on your system, will be here. It tells you if it is a purchased item, also with the name of the font, if it's a single layer, if it is best for, this one tells you it's a multi-layer, it's okay for cutting, it's good for writing. So it gives you some very quick, basic information on that font. If you go beside all, it says system. That would bring up the list of just the fonts that are installed on, in my case, my computer, because that's what I'm on. So it wouldn't show me any of the fonts that Cricut has. The last option is Cricut. This will show me just the fonts available through the Cricut program. It would not include any of my fonts that are on my system. You can search fonts if you know the name of the font. In cases like mine where I have thousands, it comes in handy. You can also filter the fonts. For your fonts that are you can do multi-layer fonts, you can look for just single layer fonts, or you can look for just writing fonts. This is the one you're going to look for if you want to do a writing with the Cricut. So if you want the Cricut to write with a marker your text, click the writing fonts, because the Cricut, when it writes with the marker, follows the exact same lines as your image. So pretty much it's just following the outline. So you will have like bubble style letters, I guess you would say. So you would want to look for just writing images. And in this case, it also, see right here, it's letting me know the name of the writing image and how much it is. I'm trying to find, so if I was to pick, I don't want to pick it, no, because I might actually show you this all the way through. Sure, I had some. Okay, so I want writing fonts. My fonts, see if I, yeah, I can do both. Okay, so it's brought it to my fonts. I don't have a whole lot to choose from, do I? Looks like I got that to choose from. So I will choose this one. And it's going to change my AuntDi's crafts to a single line so that I can go over here and set it up to draw on my machine as a single layer. You also here can choose it to go as a regular, which is just the normal cut. So it'd be a thicker. You can make it bold, which makes it thicker. And this is showing up because apparently in the bold it does not have a hyphen in this font. I can make it slant by making it italic. I can do it both bold and italic. And this is just the writing. And then this is just writing italic. It's going to go back to regular. I can go back to the fonts. I'm going to clear the writing area off. And I'm just going to scroll through my fonts. I'm just going to, I don't know, grab one. AuntDi's fonts, that's another one. Also here, you can change the size of my fonts. So I can make it smaller, highlight it, I can make it larger. That's really large. Highlight it. Letter spacing. In some fonts, I'll show you what I mean. This one will show you. Guess not. See if this one does the trick. Okay, it does. As you see, this is a writing font. I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer so you can see it better. And as we know, well, should know, when we write with paper and pen or pencil, whatever, a cursive writing is one fluid motion. So your pen or pencil does not lift the paper, which means your words are all attached, your letters all touch. Well, if you see here, they're not. They should be. Why when you use these fonts, the letters are not already attached, I have no idea. When I go into any other program so far that I've come across, PicMonkey, even my Cricut a lot, the letters are attached as you type them out. But for whatever reason, Cricut did not do that. You need to do it. The first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to unlock it. Actually, before you even unlock it, what I like to do first is you bring it up as close as you can, and I like to line it up on a line, because this way, if I happen to move the letter up or down as I'm moving it, I know it's got to land on that line in the end to line up with the letter in front. So you need to unlock your group of letters. Well, no, you don't need to unlock your group of letters yet. You can come up to where it says letter spacing, and you can start clicking down and see it's brought it closer together. If you click it up, it's going to bring it further apart. So you would keep clicking and bringing your letters together until you get them where you want. But there's a lot of times where that doesn't work. You get some letters touching and some letters overlapping because of the placement or the space in between the letters. So the quickest thing to do is just to unlock. Why am I unlocking? I have no idea. Sorry. The quickest thing to do is to select all. So you're selecting the words that you want moved. You go over to the right hand side where your layers panel is. Underneath your My Project, Save It, Make It, you'll see Ungroup. Click that. Now all the letters will be able to move individually. So you would start with, say, your N. See, it only circled the end. And you would bring it so that it just attaches to the U. You would then click on the T and bring it so it just attaches to the end. See what I mean? It went up just a tiny bit. I would do that process all along. See, this S is too far. I don't like that being so high. I want that a little lower. And I would just continue fixing this. See, look at how this is. These letters got closer, some of them didn't. I do want my R closer. And then I bring my A closer. I bring my F closer. Actually going to let it touch. Bring my T closer. I'm going to overlap it. And I just bring my S over and actually let that touch. Something like that. Now, problem is though, my words are now quite spaced out. It's okay, because I am going not to group everything together again. I'm only going to group my words together. So I'll have 3 groupings. I do this by left clicking my mouse just above an area that I want. I then drag it to make a drag box or whatever you want it, so that everything I want grouped, that box at least touches. So I don't have to completely cover it. I have to at least have that item being touched somewhere by this box. So now I will have a select box around the word crafts. Actually, before I continue, I wonder what that would look like to bring that just a little closer. Okay. So once again, I'm going to put a select box around it. I then would go up to the right hand by where I found the ungroup or the delete, duplicate, and now I will find group. I'm going to click that because I want those to stay together. And I want to be able to move things around still before I finally weld them together. So now I can move my word crafts around. And do the same thing with dies. Just going to group them. And lastly, ant. Just going to group them. Now I very easily could have jumped to the next step right away and not did the grouping, but just in case I wasn't quite ready, I wanted to be able to still play around. So I can play around with these all I want because they are grouped individually. Problem is, if I was to go and cut these right now, even though on this screen it looks like they are attached, they're not. I don't know if we're going to be able to bring this in close enough to see. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Anyways, if I was to cut this right now, the overlap of the 2 letters, like this tail thing that overlap the letters, it would still cut. My letters would still slice apart. What you need to do, first of all, I'm going to go back and get rid of those colors that I stuck on there. Okay. What you need to do, and this is extremely important, you need to select all the letters that you want to look like one fluid word as you've written. Go back over to your layers panel, go down, and you'll find the word weld. Click on that. And that does exactly what it sounds like. It's going to weld those layers or letters together. So now it's going to be one fluid motion. Oh no, what's happened? Look at the A. If that happens, that just means that 2 of the letters are too close. There is no unweld button, so just go back. And in my case, I have to ungroup. And now I got to figure out what letters are too close. So I'm just going to move them all just a tiny bit this way, because it's obviously either the A and F or the A and R. And I think it's the A and R probably. So I'm just going to move them just a tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to select all, or right click, drag, so I have a box around it. Select weld again. And there. So now that's going to cut out as one fluid word. You need to do this with all the words that you just did and want it to have come up as a writing. So boo, shh, and aunt. So like I said, now when we take it to the mat, like so, it will cut as one fluid word. Now yes, it's messed up because I did not do something important. Let's bring this back down so I can show you. If you want your words or your layout to remain exactly where you, like how you've got it placed on your canvas, if that's exactly how you want it to place on your cutting mat, you're going to select all and attach. Now if you have a different colors going on, you would have to select light items by their color and select them. If not, everything's going to turn to that one layer. So I guess yes, if you have different layers, not just colors. So now if I go to make it, it now will be in exact spots that I want it to be. Okay, now continuing on with some more information about when you have text, your fonts or your text, your words. Once you have it selected, you can also, if you have more than one line, you can change your line spacing, just like your letter spacing. You can click alignment and have it centered, left, right, aligned. Now Cricut also has curves. So you can curve your words in DesignSpace now. You don't have to go into a different program to do so. Right makes it go up, left makes it go down. So you can smile or frown. The advanced, to be honest, I've never used it. To me, it doesn't really do anything other than ungroup the letters, which is no different than just ungrouping. Now, what you can also do, you can change, obviously, by clicking over in your right hand column, you can change your font from a from a cut to a right to a score to a print. You've got your basic colors that you can change it to still. And if you're to change it to a print, you will notice that you have this other option, patterns. Go ahead and click that. And just give it a minute. It's going to come up with all my patterns first that I've loaded up. Okay, so there's collection on the bottom, filters, edit, and reset. You go to filter, same as with your filtering for your fonts or your images. They've got your ownerships. So I'll just click my patterns. They've got an upload option, ones that you've uploaded. Then down below, under the ownerships, they also have it broken into colors. So if there's a certain color you're looking for, you can. You can look by collection. So you can do alphabets and numbers, you can do Christmas, you can do miscellaneous, sports, spring. Let's just pick spring because spring's, well, you wouldn't know it's spring by being outside, but spring is here. Okay, so we have these letters, but we want them to be a different, totally different. So let me bold them first, just because it makes them a bit thicker of a letter. Okay, and I'm going to click on, like I did, the pictures. I'm going to click print this time because I want to get into patterns, and I'm into my spring patterns. Let's just click one, anyone, so I can show you what happens. And load and behold, voila. You see that? You see what pattern my AuntDi's font has now? So as you can see, it changes. So you're not just plain old willy-nilly colors. You can get actual patterns, like certain papers almost. It's, let me just do one letter here. Let's just do an A. Let me just close that for now. Let me get this A. This A I want to be bold, because I want to make sure that you can see it well. I'm just going to try to find myself a real fat looking font, just to make it easier, I hope, for you to see. Oh, again, it's not really that fat, is it? Well, what I'll do is I'll just make it big enough for you to see. So we've got this big old A. We don't want just a plain color to go with it. So we'll change it to print, to patterns, and then you pick your pattern. There's so many of them. So many. And once you pick it, you just click it, and it will automatically change whatever you're trying to change to that pattern or to that print. But it is called pattern. But see, that's awful light against the background. Try to get one here that you can see pretty good. And it's like, I like this feature. I really do, because one, if you don't have a lot of pattern paper, and two, if you just can't find that pattern paper that you really want to use, this is what you would do. So it works out perfect. Okay, next I'm going to cover shapes. Shapes are just your basic shapes that they have. You would grab one. You could resize it just like everything else. You can change its color. You can do the pattern on it by going to print. Any of that stuff. So your shapes are just your basics. And like I said, they work like anything else that I've showed you. If you need a cut line, go to shapes, grab your score line, and then you're just going to go into your layers panel once it's layered or loaded, click it, and change it to a cut. And now you've got a cut line. What do I want to do next? Uploads. For DesignSpace, you can upload your own images and your own patterns if you choose. When you upload your own image, you would click on Image. I'll just browse, see if I have anything here. I should. Oops, my grandson's page. Gotta go to the desktop and my craft folder. I'll just grab something easy to do. Let's grab this one. Let's get the deer. It's accepted it. Now this is fairly a simple image. It will explain what it means by simple, moderately complex, or complex. I'm going to click simple and then continue. Now, in order for this to cut, because if we were to preview it right now, nothing. There'd be nothing cut. We need to get rid of this gray area. Click on your wand, come over to your picture, and give it a left click. That's what you need. You need these white and blue blocks, because that's like erasing the background. See how now we have shape. You can zoom in so you can get into these other areas without a problem. Like so. Oh no, I made a mistake. That's fine. You can go back and undo. Let me just get these last couple. I should really bring it in closer, but yeah. Now preview again. And it looks like you've got everything. Then you would go to continue. In this spot, this would save it as a print to cut. This would save it as a cut. So depending on how you want to save it, you would select, make sure you have an image name, put some tags in it so it's easy to locate, and then click save. Now don't worry, because I can always change that to a print if I wanted to. So I'm going to load it now into my DesignSpace. And there she is. There's my deer as a cut. Perfect. Now also, you noticed in upload, there's pattern fill. You can upload a pattern. I don't know if I have any patterns saved, but I will check. I might not. No, it doesn't look like I have any patterns saved. So I'm just going to say that this is a pattern, okay? So I'm going to open it and pretend it's a pattern. That's my pattern. You don't clean it up. It's the whole thing. You once again name it. There's themes that you can put it under, and styles and colors. Then you would click save. Now you do not get a load. Like this shows you all of your images that you've uploaded. You can view all of them, but you don't get to view all of your patterns. Okay? Now, We already had the deer, so I'm just going to click cancel. Now just for hoots and giggles, I'm going to click print, patterns, just so that it's easy for me to find. I'm just going to include my uploads. We're going to do some filtering here so that we can find it, the pattern that we want, just a little bit easier. There it is. And we're just going to click on it. And our deer should be covered in trucks and cars. There we go. Our deer is now all trucks and cars. We would send this to Make It. It would sort the project into mats. Always sorting your print to cut first, as you can see. When you see the print to cut, you will see a box around the images that it's going to print. This black line is like a registration mark almost. It's what your Cricut will read to get its information, so it knows exactly where it needs to cut. So that's what that is. And here you can, if you choose, you can apply more than one project. You would push continue, you would connect your machine, you would send to printer if you have not already sent to printer. If you had, you would have clicked the I've already printed. So we'll cancel. Get back to our canvas. And we're going to delete that. Now, this is your blank canvas. If you don't like having those lines there, the grids, if you go right up to the square between the two zeros, it will just, and click on it, you can get rid of them very simply. And they will just have that grid mark. Click it again, and your grid's completely gone. Again, and it's back to where it was. Also, if you come over to where your right hand side is, your layers panel, you will, and it says blank canvas, and there is an I marked out in it because it's a blank canvas. There's nothing there. It defaults always to white, always. But if you were to click it, you can change the color of your canvas. So if you don't like the white background or whatever reason, you can change it to your preference. We are now going to go and talk about, let's get into doing images. If you're to click on images, you go over to the opening area of where you can start searching among 60,000 plus images. That's a lot of images to search through. How are you ever going to find what you want? Well, let's try bunny. We type it in. And we wait. Now, 242 results came up related to bunny. That's an awful lot still. So we can come over here and go to filter, and we can start filtering through until we get it so that we don't have to go through so many. Beside the filter, you will see these little boxes. If you click that, It changes for the amount you see at one time, the amount of images you see at one time. You would go through your images, pick ones that you want. As you click them, they will show up down here in a circle. If you need a bit more information on them, click the I. It tells you the name of the file, the file number, and what cartridge this file is from. If after you've clicked some images that you want to insert on your mat and you've decided that, hey, I really don't want that one, just take your cursor and go over it here at the bottom and an X will pop up. Just click on that and it's now gone. But if you still want this one, you would then insert image, and there's your image. It pops right up for you. So you can change your color, you can change what you choose to do with it. If you want it as a write, a cut, a score, a print, blah, blah. I'm going to get myself a different image, but I'm not too sure what I want. Let me just get rid of this. So maybe we should go and check out cartridges. So click on the cartridges. And up will come, or sorry, not cartridges, categories. And up will come all different categories, starting with free this week, which is all the images which Cricut has offered to you free for the week. They put new ones out every week. They're most popular, they're newest, and then even more categories. Achievements, wildlife, anniversary, and it keeps going from that all the way to Hanukkah, nature, Thanksgiving, winter. Breaks it down into brands if you want it. So it really breaks it up for you. You click nature, it's going to have all the images that fall under that category. If you want, you can now go to cartridges, and you are going to find every cartridge that Cricut has to offer. It lets you know if it's an Access membership cartridge, which means if you had the Access membership, you would get this cartridge. It tells you how many images you'll find in the cartridge and how much it is to buy the cartridge. Once again, you can filter through to find your cartridges that you own. And you could go in there that way to use them. This one says it's got 362 images. That's a lot of images. But I'm just going in to grab an image. Any image. Because I need an image to show you some different things. Let's just grab this image. Okay. I'm going to grab this image, and I want 2 of them. You can come over here to duplicate, and now I have 2 of them. And that works perfect. You decide you don't want to, you can get rid of one. You always have to have the image highlighted or selected so that you can tell the program what you're doing, what you want it doing it with, what item it's working with. Now, I'm going to put a couple, so say I want 3 Sundays. And my Sundays are all 3 different colors. But I've decided really that I want this one Sunday to be the same color as this Sunday. But let's say I just went in here and picked a random color. So I don't know what color that was. A good way to do this is to go right up here, right under the Make It green button. It says Color Sync. If you click onto that, it allows you to sync colors. So, which means I can match this so that it matches exactly with this color. All you do is you would come over here, I would grab my image or the color bar of what I want to change, drag it to the color that I want it changed to, release, and now it changes, it syncs to that color. There's another feature. It's called Contour. Contour makes it so that you can hide certain parts of the image that you don't want. You hide it by clicking on them. So say I don't want these there. I'd click that, and when I come back, you see, it no longer will cut that center piece out because I removed it. This is a great thing to do on images that you can't ungroup. And say you have, say you uploaded a saying and it's all one color and you can't ungroup it. Well, you can take it into Contour, and you can contour the letters on or off so that you're able to change those colors and get them to where you want them to be. Hope that makes sense. You can only do that with a single layer item, just like I can only slice single layers. So let's say I want to slice a square, and I want this to be cut out of the square. Let me arrange that for it just so we can see it. So I want that to be cut out of the square. I would put that where I want it, select all, and down here now the slice image has come up, or option has come up. That's because it is, both of these are one layers. If there was more than one layer to this ice cream, I couldn't do this. So you would click slice, and it slices an image, or it slices an image in half, in this case, of your ice cream. So now if I really wanted to, I can take my ice cream, slice it, and it's no longer part of the container. I can also put this container back together. By pushing weld. Just like with the letters, when I was explaining that to you, you see how that line is now gone when I clicked weld? That's because it welded them together. Just think of welding metal together. It becomes, it takes two separate pieces and joins them as one. I could turn around and rejoin this, but you see there's a line. I don't want that line showing. So I would select it all, and I would weld. And the line's gone. Had I only selected it all and clicked attached, the line's still going to be there. That's a cut line. So sure, these two are now attached, but when I go to cut it, it's still going to cut across that cut line. If you don't want it, it needs to be weld. If you wanted to do this image as a print to cut, you would select it all and flatten. And so now when you take it to the Make It Matte, it will do a print to cut. Unflatten, and it's going to cut. Ay, 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 ay. So remember, I'm doing a lot of ums because I'm trying to think and make sure I've got as much as I can think of covered for you. Group, ungroup, duplicate, yeah, colored sync, layers. You know, I think I've gone over pretty much everything to give you a basic idea of how DesignSpace works, of all the different options that you have or features that you have in DesignSpace. I really hope I didn't forget anything, but if I do, in time I will know and we will be able to do more videos on it. Something that is very important is remember to save your projects as you are going. You don't know how many projects I've lost or how many projects many people out there have lost because they didn't save their project and their computer shut down, or they lost their internet, or it froze, and they just spent 3 hours working on it. So save your project as you go. Well, this has been another episode of AuntDi's Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel, and please use any of my affiliated links while shopping at Cricut or at Happy Crafters Canada, as it helps so that I can make more videos for you and to share them with you. So happy crafting and have a wonderful, wonderful day.